All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Unstoppable REI. So today it's a special show because I have a 2 for 1 special today. So I've got the real estate investment made easy guys. Got Chris Tian and I've got Chris Deal. So two Chris's. Wait, I'm sorry. That's not you don't go by Chris, do you, Christian?
No, just Christian.
Just Christian. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm messing your name up.
Or Tony Stark with the glasses.
There you go. There you go. So and it's been a tough trying to get together. Chris, you had an injury. Now, as I understand, was that like a client trying to take you out or something, or what happened with that? The leg break.
Yeah, so I mean, in real estate, things are kind of crazy. So we got a
It's
property under contract, and in unfortunately in Southern California, we got some squatters that I had to shoot in with the double leg takedown, and got into a little leg lock battle. No, just joking. Actually,
I totally set you up for that. I know.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Totally. No, I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and blew my knee out. So just had meniscus surgery on that a couple weeks ago. So
did you really? I didn't know that you're in the martial arts, man. Is that like do you get colored belts with that too? Like what belt are you?
Yeah, so I'm a brown belt.
Nice. So how long have you been doing that?
9 years.
Oh man, that's a long time. Okay. Cool. So don't get on your bad side. Don't get on your bad side. Is that
exactly?
So
unless you can run faster than him.
That's true.
I like it. So all right, so let's get into it. And I don't know who's going to be answering the questions, but maybe both you guys can jump in, tag team, whatever. But so tell me your story, how you guys got going, your 30-second, 45-minute elevator pitch, whichever. Just hit me with it. How did it get going?
Yeah, I'll take it away. And it's in terms of investing, I started in 2009 when I joined a real estate education company, and I was a solopreneur. I was also working a 40, 50, 60-hour work week as well with the job.
Okay.
And flipping houses. I loved it. It was exhausting, as you could probably guess. Sure. And I was always wanting a partner, but I couldn't find the right person.
Okay.
So, working as a coach at Fortune Builders was the name of the company. And I had met Chris because he joined that company as well on the student onboarding team.
Okay.
And I met him and we connected. We went to the same church and we created a partnership together in another real estate investment business. I closed the last one, Lazarus Property Group. So we started investing in real estate together. And that's how, I would say he got his start, and I'll let him take it over from here. But that's the 30-second there.
Okay. I like it. What do you guys say about that, Chris?
Yeah. So basically, that's really exactly what it was. And it was interesting because when I found out about Fortune Builders, I saw the opportunity when I went to the 3-day workshop and what it was that I could grow. Like, to me, it wasn't just a job. It was a launch pad into starting my real estate investing business.
Okay.
And it saved me the 30 to 50 grand that many of Fortune Builders students have paid to get that education. So as an employee, you get that as a perk. And so I knew that. So I was like, man, I could leverage both of these things to really be a launch pad. And, I've been doing sales for 25 years. So I got a lot of experience in that. Sold just about anything you could imagine, and connected with Christian. And it was literally like meeting a brother that, you were separated from, at birth when we connected. So we just connected on a multitude of different levels. And, he had the knowledge and experience in real estate. I had the sales background and the motivation, the desire, and the willing to grind. And we just hit it off and decided to go full force at it.
Nice. I like that. Now, here's something else. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but something else we have in common. I know you guys even mentioned church a couple of times. So I grew up in church. Did I ever tell you that I'm a pastor's kid? Did I tell you that? I did. Okay. I don't know if I shared that with you or not. Yeah. So, anyway, tell me one thing that you wish you would have known when you started your career.
Oh man. I would say one thing that I wish I would have known when I started my real estate investing career is that there's going to be a lot of people out there that are a lot of talk, and they act like investors, but they're not taking the action of investors. And so just knowing that, and because I think I kind of had a naive approach that like anybody that says they're a real estate investor is an active investor, and they're putting in the work, they're taking action, they're doing the things that they need to do to be successful.
Right.
And I think I probably would have saved myself a lot of time, a lot of conversations that took a lot of time, energy, and resources, just knowing that, and kind of vetting people that I'm like working with a little bit quicker and sooner, like understanding like who to devote my time and energy to, and who is, because there's givers and there's takers, right? And there's a lot of takers in this space, a lot of people that, hey, let me pick your brain about this. And that's all they ever do. Or, what I refer to as boot camp Betties, right? They go to all the boot camps out there, every single one of them.
Collecting information.
Exactly. And they're there for the community, and that's great. But like, at some point you have to step out and take action. So I think that
leverage that community, right? What's the point in building it if you're not going to leverage it?
Exactly.
Right. Well, a lot of people, and I played a little bit of sports. I mean, in high school, certainly not a brown belt or black belt like you, but we used to say that everybody looks good in warm-ups. Everybody talks a good game. You know what I mean? And so until it's time to play, that's so separate the men from the boys, as it were. So what is one of the, I would say, your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that?
Man, it's interesting that you asked that, because so one thing, with failure, and I think on the front end, I'll say it's really important to look at failure in the right frame and the right context, and I think a lot of people tend to look at failure as a stumbling block, a challenge, right? And to me, I've always looked at failure as a launch pad to success. If you Google or go on YouTube and you type in Michael Jordan failure, like that video is one of my favorite videos. He succeeds because of all the failures, right?
Nice.
So, I think framing failure in the right context and understanding that like this shouldn't, it's like the Rocky movie, right? It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up, right? You can't get up if you didn't get knocked down. But I think the one biggest failure that would have put us in a much better position today than we currently are at is identifying a bad partnership early on. It took us about 1.5 years, 2 years in a relationship with somebody else, partnering up, to really identify that it was a toxic relationship that was really sucking a lot of the energy and resources out of both of us. And so I think, my advice for people out there would be vet partnerships on the front end. Don't vet them on the back end, because if you're vetting them on the back end, you're a little late to the party, and you're going to have a lot of scars and a lot of baggage from that it could stifle your growth in the future. So that would be my biggest failure.
Yeah. If you both identify as business partners, both of you, especially at the beginning, should have clarity on the financials for one, which is a little insight in that situation. But the biggest failure in real estate investing is, man, I tell all my clients, people that I coach, I have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate. I've also made a lot more than that. But those failures were learned lessons. One in particular, I had the wrong contractors and flips. And isn't that the story that you hear everywhere? I mean, you need the right contractors. So I'm not immune from that either. Even, having success in real estate investing currently, I heard it, but I didn't learn from others' mistakes in that regard. So that would be mine personally in terms of investing is concerned.
Sure.
And don't sign a personal guarantee.
I know that sounds like a story in there. Don't you think you learn more from your failures and your successes anyway?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, like doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu for as long as I have, jiu-jitsu has changed my life in more ways than I could possibly count. One of them specifically being learning to be comfortable in uncomfortable positions. And, I don't think there's much in life that it applies to more than real estate investing, because like, let's be honest, like how many times have you had a transaction where you talk to the seller, got it under contract day one,
Yeah.
took it to escrow, opened escrow, got the title report, got the buyer, they signed the contracts, and it was easy peasy, lemon squeezy, money in the bank, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
That's a unicorn. It doesn't happen.
Right.
And so there's going to be challenges all along the way. And so getting comfortable in those uncomfortable positions, I think is really good. But yeah, I mean, with jujitsu, you know, I've competed for a long time in jiu-jitsu, and I've always grown so much more from my losses at competition than I ever have from victories. So yeah,
that makes total sense. So speaking of jiu-jitsu, isn't there is that the style that there's an actor, he's a little bit older now. I can't, his name escapes me, but that I think he used that style. Anyway, no problem.
There's a lot, actually. Keanu Reeves trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Actually, Slater from Saved by the Bell, Mario Lopez, he actually competes.
Oh, is that
interestingly enough, a lot of actors, they only train jiu-jitsu, but they don't do the live sparring. Mario Lopez, I got a lot of respect for that guy, because even though he's an actor and he's got to protect the pretty face, right?
Right.
He actually goes to like local competitions. Like I've seen him at local competitions competing. He actually puts in the work, which is not the norm for most of the actors out there.
Sure. All right, cool. Well, I'm getting way off base here, so let's get back on track. So tell me your top, I would say top 3 resources that have worked best for you guys and you'd recommend.
Christian, take it away.
That's a really good question. I'm glad you asked it, because we all know that you could take massive action even if you're a go-getter and fail in real estate. Everybody knows that.
Sure.
And the problem in my experience and my opinion exists because you use the wrong tools.
Got it.
So what we did, we even put together a resource which your audience is welcome to. It's free.
Yes.
And it lists the top 5 tools to use to succeed in real estate. But number 1, you got to get the right data. And that's what we do for our clients that we market for in Real Estate Investing Made Easy. And we use the tool called Property Radar. There's no affiliate. It's not one of those, hey, use this because I'm going to get a check every month if you subscribe.
Yeah.
It's just a tool that actually works. And then the other one is the top of the funnel marketing.
Okay.
That's the lowest cost. And we actually we have affiliates for stuff like this that give extra bonuses and stuff. And if someone's interested, we could talk about it. But it's Launch Control. Launch Control is a real estate text message marketing platform.
Okay.
We also have a lot of education around that too. You can literally Google Launch Control real estate, and we'll pop up with trainings on how to do that. And that is for text message marketing because it's the lowest cost, quickest response, and you can qualify or disqualify to get those highly qualified leads from the prospect lists that you generated in Property Radar.
Okay.
Tool number 3, and finally, pursuant to your question, you got to have a really solid CRM, and it's got to have follow-up abilities that are going to make your life easier. And this is what you've probably heard before, but Chris says it all the time. You have to leverage either people or technology, and that is to scale your business appropriately. It's not going to happen if you don't. So Forefront CRM, it's the CRM that we use, and it's been literally a game changer. You can quote Chris on, this is the first time that I've been able to close my laptop down, go to sleep at night, knowing that all of my leads are managed. Wow. So it is paramount to the success and scale of our business. And that's why right now, actively, just at this moment in time, we have over $500,000 of real estate wholesaling fees that are closing in escrow. And it was a result of those top 3 things that I just mentioned.
Man, that's crazy. But let's jump off script here again for just a second. Tell me about you guys' business, because speaking of resources, I know that you guys offer some marketing tools. Can you tell me just about what you guys do specifically?
Yeah, so we actually have 2 different businesses. So our primary investing business is Lazarus Property Group, and that's where we do all of our wholesale transactions, or fix and flips, wholesales, anything where we're transacting on a property. And our other business is Real Estate Investing Made Easy. And really that was birthed from us performing marketing for our own business internally, developing a marketing system in-house and being successful with it. And a lot of our network reaching out saying, hey, like, what are you guys doing to get all these leads? Like, it seems like it's working really well. And, you know, Christian never really wanted to run a marketing business. So he basically we started telling people exactly what we're doing, showing them the steps, you know, and giving them the resources like, hey, do this, 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 and this. And more often than not, you know, they either didn't have the desire to do it themselves, didn't have the time, the bandwidth, the energy, or the wherewithal to do it, because they had all these other revenue generating activities in their business they wanted to focus on. Right. And so that's kind of how Real Estate Investing Made Easy was birthed, because they started asking us, you know, hey, I'd be willing to pay you guys to just do it for me. Right. And so we started building Real Estate Investing Made Easy, and it's been very successful. And we're now currently operating in 20 plus markets across the US. Last year alone, we've generated over 5,000 motivated seller leads for our clients all over the country. So it's been really successful. And we've also built out a YouTube page with where we're adding a lot of content, a lot of how-to videos on the software and the tools and resources that we use.
Nice. Well, please be sure to give me the links to all that stuff so I could post them here when I
absolutely.
And congratulations on your success. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Who do you guys look to as mentors, or who have you looked to? I mean, so if you had to name, say, your top three most influential people in your life, who would they be? And it doesn't have to just be real estate. I mean, just in general. Who would they be?
For sure. Well, I would say, you know, the first one, you know, and I could probably speak for Christian on this, but, you know, the number one is going to be Jesus Christ. I mean, like the Bible, right? Like, you know, that without that, I wouldn't be the person I am today, you know. And like, one of the things that we've done is we've scaled a pretty massive virtual assistant team. We don't even call them virtual assistants, but, you know, for the context of the listeners who that's what they know, that's what they are, they're virtual assistants. But the big thing for us is we have like virtually no turnover, and it's because of how we treat them. We treat them like human beings, because that's what the Bible calls us to do, is treat people with respect and dignity. Sure. And so we do that. And so they love working for us. They don't want to go anywhere else. So I'd say, you know, Jesus Christ in the Bible would be the first one. The second one for me would absolutely be Robert Kiyosaki. You know, I mean, everybody that's watching your podcast or listening to your podcast, like they haven't heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, then they passed go. You guys need to go back to square one.
Exactly. That's right.
Like, it will totally change your mindset. And then I think another one for me is Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink, he's a former Navy SEAL, jiu-jitsu practitioner, motivational speaker. I actually have a friend that works with him directly. And his book, Extreme Ownership, you know, really changed the way that I view taking responsibility, you know. And Christian has a quote, it's praise loudly and blame softly. And I think Extreme Ownership really kind of takes that approach, you know, where it's like, hey, if somebody on my team is not performing at the level that I think they should be performing at, like, absolutely, there's things that they could be doing differently. But ultimately, the responsibility falls on me for not properly training them. I need to do a better job at training them so that they can succeed, right? So looking to yourself, you know, looking in the mirror when things are going wrong, and looking outside to your team when things are going right.
You know, that's an interesting perspective. Giving more attention and more time to the team, and like you said, Christian, his quote is. Praise loudly, and what was the other part? Praise loudly.
Blame softly.
Blame softly. I like that. Did you want to add anything into that? Any other influencers for you?
You know, I will, and I think the influencers for me, the people who have poured mostly into me. You know, Chris was right about the number one. I'm lucky to have a personal relationship with all three who have really helped me. Jesus Christ, personal relationship. And then also in terms of real estate, the personal relationships that I have been able to like just learn from. It has to do with, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. And you know, a name that pops to the top of my head, Amy Majuri. She was the first person to actually coach me. Okay. And I don't know if your listeners know Amy Majuri, but she's the private money lending queen in terms of how to get private money really quickly. And she really poured into me, and when I was doing this business by myself, as well as Angela Gregg, who is another coach that was at Fortune Builders, who walked me through my first transaction. And ultimately it's because I know these people. I could call them on my phone and say like, hey, I'm stuck. Where do I go? And of course there are the mystery ghost fourth people. I may know some of these people personally, but I wasn't calling them. That's like the training content from Dan Merrill. I mean, I've known him for 15 years, right? And JDS Agent and the owners of Fortune Builders. And I even asked them stuff too along the way, especially JD. So it was just being in the presence of the people who were active in real estate and knew what the heck they were talking about, asking questions, constantly being curious. So I would say those are my top three for sure.
Nice.
And
nice.
one other honorable mention,
Sure.
I would say is, we recently enrolled in Sub 2, so Pace Morby's group. Pace Morby is blowing things up, in the industry. And, he's not, the interesting thing is a lot of people think what he's doing is something new and groundbreaking. The reality is Subject 2 has been around since like the 40s, if not earlier. And, what the difference is there was nobody that was really leveraging it at the level that he's leveraging it. And if they were, they weren't very vocal about it. Not a lot of people knew who they were, but the way he's leveraging that. And I think, for those of you who are watching, like, I think what the market's going to do in the next, 2 to 5 years, I think Subject 2 is going to be a very powerful tool for you to be able to acquire rental properties at a significant pace. So that's pace, right?
Pace,
so
no pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So that's something we're really diving into. We're excited to be a part of that community and that Subject 2 community there. So.
Nice. Yeah. Pace is the guy. And you're right. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but he's blowing it up. I really like what he's doing. And also what he's doing with the Gator lending. Are you familiar with some of the stuff he's doing there? I mean, he's got a bunch of stuff going. I mean, he's a great guy. So and we sort of alluded to some of these things in the conversation so far, but what is one common myth that you can debunk in real estate investing? One common myth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've got one. And so, and this goes back to the very first phone call I ever made in my real estate investing career. And now, if anybody who knows me knows I'm an extrovert. I put extra in extrovert, right?
I can't tell. I would never know that.
I have no problem talking to people, no problem getting on the phone, been doing sales for 25 years. But I was a little bit, the prospect of getting on the phone with a real estate agent to talk about a property that they had listed as a brand new person in the real estate investment space, it was a daunting prospect for me. And I was like really concerned. I was like, well, I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. They're going to know a lot more than me. They're going to think I'm an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And Christian's like, I promise you this person, like, I don't even know this agent, but I promise you they don't know more than you know right now. I guarantee it. And so he's like, just call them. What do you got to lose? And I'm like, okay, cool. So got on the phone, started talking to her, and really quickly figured out that it doesn't even sound like she knows what she's talking about. And I do have the knowledge that I need. And so, I would say my advice from that is, if you're spending, a lot of time going through a lot of training, like, the education has to come to at least a slowdown. You don't need to invest so much time into your education. Chances are you know enough to be successful. You know enough to get on a call and have a conversation with a seller or an agent. Just take action. That's the biggest thing.
Got it. You want to add anything to that, Christian?
Yeah, just one thing, and it has to do with the education piece. The thing I want to debunk is, no offense at all to any of the people I know personally who are, quote, gurus that I have a lot of respect for, because there are several of them. It's not as easy as you're making it seem. That's a sales pitch, okay?
Yeah.
Because even though your education piece has to come to a slowdown for you, in other words, you're taking massive action, but can't do that if you're just being a boot camp Betty, as Chris mentioned.
Yeah, that's true.
you gotta really pour into your education, but don't let that be a deterrent from you taking action. So it's not as easy as you think it is just getting started.
Right.
But you still have to strike a healthy balance. So what I'm debunking is those people who say, like, in your spare time, 2 hours a day. Yeah, 2 hours a day after you spend 3 months learning how to do it,
right,
which is totally fine. And I applaud people who do it. I did it, Chris did it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. But that's the real deal. The real deal is going to take some time, got to work. And
he is the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So
one other thing too is, I think especially, and this kind of comes from the place that we work in the lead generation space. And, I've been marketing for a long time as well. I think there's this common myth that there's such thing as a hot motivated seller, right? And and so what does that mean? Like, sure, there's a hot motivated seller, but that can be defined depending on who you talk to. That can mean a multitude of different things. And I think a lot of people, specifically newer people, think that there's going to be any lead generation company out there, any method where a lead is going to come into your CRM, you're going to text them or call them, and they're going to be like, oh my God, I've been waiting to talk to you, Rufus.
Here's my house.
Yeah, here's my house. And guess what? I'm going to sell it to you for 70% of the retail value so you can make money and be happy with the house that you just bought.
Right.
Like, could that exist? Sure. Is it going to come across your table every day? Definitely not. Like, if you think that you're going to just get leads handed to you on a silver platter, that you're not going to have to work to close, I promise you there's a dozen other investors that are working to close every single lead that you're talking to right now. Totally. None of these leads are, they're not, only yours. It's not like you're the only person reaching out to them. There's a million people trying to get a hold of this person. So you're going to have competition and you got to work the leads.
Totally. So before I ask the last question, how can people reach out to you guys? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, great question. So there's a few different ways you could reach out to us. We have a Facebook group. It's Real Estate Investing Made Easy. You can feel free to join that. You can also connect with us on our YouTube channel. Just do a search for Real Estate Investing Made Easy. And then if you have questions or you want to learn more about our marketing or any of the other services that we offer or any of the products that we have, you can email us at team@reime.us. And that's
just go to that website, reime.us, and that free resource tool that I was talking about when you asked what are the top 3 tools, that's available immediately for a free download once you just, opt in, as it were, so that we know you're interested in connecting.
Sure.
And there's ways that you can connect with us even in that PDF as well towards the end.
Nice. And again, be sure to send me all those links so I can have all that stuff to be able to pass along to people. So last question here. So if you Google the term real estate investor failure rate, okay, you see that like 95% of real estate investors fail. Huge number. So what I'd like to know from you guys is 2 things. Number one, how would you define the word unstoppable? That's the name of this podcast. I made this because I'm looking to talk to people that have succeeded in an industry that, with a huge failure rate. So number one, how do you define unstoppable? And number 2, what are you doing or what did you do to make yourself unstoppable where failure is concerned when it came to, succeeding in this industry with such a huge failure rate?
Yeah, I'll take on the question first, because the reality is it goes back to what I had mentioned earlier. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Okay.
And Richard Branson can be quoted saying that. I didn't invent that quote, but I'll tell you, it's the type A personality that needs to have their hands on everything.
Yeah.
That it's not really me, but I have friends that are that way. And that's the biggest challenge to overcome. So if one of your listeners is like that, you have to trust. It's a trust economy. You have to be willing to pour into somebody else so that they can take that over and scale. So ultimately you will become unstoppable if you are scaling in that way. Because then you can go take a vacation and your business is going to perform without you. Like Michael Gerber said, if your business requires your presence, you don't have a business, you just have a job.
Good point. Do you want to add anything to that, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think when you think about the word unstoppable, like what does that mean to me, right? So unstoppable, an unstoppable force is basically something that ought to possess infinite energy, right?
Okay.
So to be unstoppable, you have to have infinite energy. Now that doesn't mean we don't get tired, we don't get lazy, we don't get lethargic sometimes, but what it means is that I know my why and where I'm trying to get to, right? I'm putting that into my life's GPS. And by having that destination in mind, I know all of the steps and roadblocks that I have to go through. Like to Christian's point about a lot of gurus make this industry sound easy. Yeah. Think of it like the game of golf. If I just said, hey, all you have to do is swing this club and get the ball in the hole, it sounds real easy, right?
Right.
You're going to get hit real quick when you drop the ball in the water trap, the sand trap, and all these different challenges or the rough, but if I'm like, hey, here's the game of golf, here's the challenges that you're going to run into, right? And now I'm like a doctor. I'm telling you, hey, this prescription is going to make you nauseous. So when you get nauseous, you're not like, oh my God, am I going to die? It's like, no, I'm telling you, you're going to run into challenges. Know that. Have a plan to get past that. So I think what makes me unstoppable and why I'm able to be unstoppable in the business and get to where we're at is because of the fact that I know my why, I know the destination I'm trying to get to, and I know that there's going to be challenges along the way. I'm not naive to the fact that it's not going to be roses and candy canes every day. There's going to be a lot of work and a lot of challenges, and you got to put it in.
I love that. So this has been jam-packed with information, and I appreciate it. And you truly gave me double for my double. I don't know what the term is I'm looking for. It was like 2 for the price of 1. But hey, I don't want this to be the last time for us to connect. Thanks for your time today. Again, please be sure to shoot me all the contacts so I can pass it along, and I'll be sure to tag you guys when I post the video. But I appreciate your time. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Rufus. Pleasure.
Thanks, Rufus. Appreciate it.
Okay. You guys take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. Bye now.